What commonly accepted fact are you not really buying? The paparazzi. It just blows my mind how it's completely legal for them to literally stalk celebrities and take photos of them, even without their knowledge. If some other person does it, there are repercussions, but not if you're from the paparazzi. That my cat doesn't have a second family she invites over when I'm at work. Laughing out loud, my old cat stopped eating for a while, like no food for over a week, and we started to get a little worried until I saw him in one of our neighbors' windows with a new collar on his neck. He'd been going into their house and they thought he was a stray, so they started buying him cat food. Dude had a second life we had no idea about. I know a few places with neighborhood cats. Wandering around having a food bowl in every house and getting pets all around. Don't know if the owners knew this. The coin shortage. I think that one's fixed now. I went to get quarters for laundry a month ago and the bank let me get 2 rolls. My big complaint is that laundry machines still take quarters. Like card technology for laundry machines have been around for like 20 years also. It already costs like $5 to do a load of laundry. And you have to pay in quarters. Why so expensive for analog technology and crappy levels of maintenance on like 30-year-old machines? I feel like the washers and dryers easily pay for themselves in a couple of months at these rates. That there's any good reason, unless you're into printing photos, to purchase an inkjet printer, for example, instead of a laser printer. What a subpar product. Nevertheless, folks seem to gravitate to it. Dropped $500 on a Solid Brother laser printer and haven't regretted it at all. I've gone through one toner cartridge after like 3,000 pages. I spent $300 on a Brother laser printer back around 2010. 10 years and an entire college career later, it has still never given me a single issue. I keep hoping for it to die so I can upgrade to a color one, but I think this printer might outlive me. Fished a laser printer out of a Staples dumpster 6 years ago and this thing is more reliable than a hammer. When all you have is a laser printer, every problem looks like a large document you need to print. Amen to that, brother. My laser printer gets used more to print out coloring sheets for my son than any document. I bought an inkjet because it had a scanner. Barely used the printer because every time I went to use it, the black ink had dried. Color was perfectly fine, but even though I unclogged it several times, every attempt at printing failed. I bought a used Samsung SCX 4200 laser. I sometimes have to press the paper tray inward, but hey, I can actually print with it. That I'll understand when I'm older. Well, I'm older and still don't understand anything. You'll understand when you're dead. That vinegar does half the crap the internet tells me it does. Dude, I had a nasty plantar wart on bottom of my foot. Tried all the major products. Shaved it down. Changed socks regularly. And after like a year of dealing with it, finally came across vinegar from a post on Reddit, no less. Hasn't been back since. I said the exact same thing you did too. Like, how the F is this about to work? Effing life, man. No bullcrap, I had this strange wart-like thing on my knee that would not go away and bugged the crap out of me when I kneeled on it. A little cotton ball soaked in apple cider vinegar and taped over it with first aid tape for a few weeks, and it turned black, fell out of my skin, and never returned. I did the same thing years ago with a wart on my toe. This does work. I was told to use apple cider vinegar. Had a dude tell me he was treating his HPV warts with vinegar. I did not have sex with him. He has a pickled pickle. Print the suspicious claim and soak in vinegar. If bullcrap, it will disappear. Up until probably like the 1940s, I guess, vinegar was the best multipurpose cleaning/antiseptic that humans have had easy access to. It's good crap. It's like all these posts are written by Big Vinegar. Your call is very important to us. Our wait times are higher than usual. It should be, our wait times are high as usual. More as if we haven't hired enough staff to handle our daily call volumes, but your call is important to us. Everyone says they're doing my mom, but I don't see her around many people other than my dad. Do you see your mom doing your dad? Why would you expect to see her doing everyone else too? There is someone for everyone. Statistically true, realistically false. That person must be very busy. I don't believe any Reddit content, from active users, is ever truly deleted from its system. Even if we no longer can see it. And this may even be the case for inactive users, regarding their content which we no longer can see. I mean, quick Google searches will constantly bring up archived Reddit threads from the early 2010s. I didn't even know it even claimed to flush data. I just treat the site like any other social media. I remember hearing the admins claim that only the last edit of a comment is saved in the databases. So supposedly, if you edit your comment so it's blank and then delete it, no one will see what you had written. But who knows? When I nuked my last account, I had a script that edited my comments to nonsense before deleting them. I would nuke this one but I like the name too much. That seems a little irrational. The average person falls asleep in 7 minutes. Surely, there are enough people with insomnia to skew this heavily. My husband falls asleep in seconds/minutes. I can toss and turn for hours. I often get out of bed in frustration and go do something. Other times I just glare him for sleeping so peacefully. He woke up a few times to find me glaring at him laughing out loud. Apparently, you're my wife. I'm out the second I close my eyes. And I sleep like a corpse. I almost never move for a solid 6 to 9 hours either. She's my wife too. Shout out to the Unconscious in Seconds crew and our wife. If the average person falls asleep in 7 minutes, then I'm super far off the average. Edit: a lot of people are interpreting this as I fall asleep instantly. I do not. Also, average means there are people who routinely fall asleep faster than 7 minutes. Who are these people that fall asleep the second their head hits the pillow? Other than active military. Me. I didn't really realize it was so extreme until I went on a trip with my father-in-law and we had 3 legs for our flights. I'd sit in my seat on the plane and I was out. Didn't matter time of day. Didn't matter, I just slept the entire previous flight. He always tells the story of how he was talking to me and putting his bag in the overhead bin, then sat down and I was snoring before he was even settled. Every single flight we took was like that. I almost think I might fall asleep too easily. Like something really important will come up one day and I'm going to sleep through it. Miss the first contact with aliens or some crap. Somewhat similar for me. It'll take me 20+ minutes to settle into bed and actually fall asleep, but if I'm riding in a car or plane, I'm out in 2 to 3 minutes no matter how much caffeine or adrenaline is in my system. Of course, I should probably see a doctor because I also seem to dream immediately after falling asleep and sometimes have sleep paralysis. Is this real? It takes me 1 hour minimum to fall asleep. Usually. I need to see if I have sleep disease. Doctor, does it often take you more than 15 minutes to fall asleep? Me, 15 minutes? That's impossible. 2 years on meds and it still takes me an hour or so once I go to bed. I was on sleep meds, over the counter, for 3 years and could absolutely not sleep without them. My doctor switched my anti-anxiety med from Ativan to one that is an antihistamine. I fell asleep at 4 p.m. The next day I took nothing and realized I was actually feeling sleepy. Over the next week, I took the antihistamine a couple times since I had just started a new job. It did make me crazy tired at work, but I pushed through. I stopped taking sleep meds altogether and I've been going to sleep between 8 to 10. It's crazy. I thought I would never go to sleep naturally again. I'm too lazy to get up and see what it's called, but it's the antihistamine that is commonly used for an anti-anxiety rescue med. That award shows highlight the greatest achievements of the year. Here, have a free award. This comment is your greatest achievement of the year. I'm in the military and saw a guy get a Navy Achievement Award for making his guys stay late to fix a truck. They spent more time smoking and showing each other memes than actually working on the truck. In my county, Greece, there is a common saying: when we invented democracy, Western Europe still climbed/lived on trees. Therefore we're primitive. Without actually having done enough research, my anthro and history readings give me a hunch that's wildly untrue. Just respond that Egypt was writing poetry when Greece was gnawing on raw meat. I think it says more about how the Greeks think of themselves, regardless of the truth of the statement. Vincent van Gogh committed suicide. This isn't a weird conspiracy thing. I don't think he was assassinated, but a lot of the actual evidence points to him covering up for a local troublemaker kid who accidentally shot him with the pistol he got for his birthday. Rather than get the kid in trouble, he buttoned up his shirt and walked home, and literally told his brother when he got there and they noticed the blood, "I shot myself and I'm going to die, don't look into it." Which is, actually really sweet. It's possible he simply saw it as a way to both cover for the boy and take advantage of the situation to commit suicide. So the old porque no los dos angle, I see. I've heard this before as well, but Van Gogh also had a lot of risk factors for suicide. Probable bipolar I with psychotic features or schizoaffective disorder. Self-harming behavior and or suicide attempts, drinking turpentine and paint. Suicidal ideation and his only social and financial support becoming sick. None of this proves it was suicide, but certainly makes it seem likely. There's also it's certainly debatable, but as an ENT I thought I'd throw this out there. It would help explain cutting his ear off. Meniere's can be maddening. I mean, he would have had to have another severe mental disorder on top of it. Just thought I'd throw it to the discussion. Web link. Oh, no. I was recently told that I have this, and it is certainly not fun. It's more than just spinning and imbalance. When it's really bad, I wake up and it feels exactly like I'm incredibly drunk. Can barely stand, there is nausea, and the whole world just feels unbalanced. It's an awful thing to experience. It always surprises me how recent Van Gogh was. I always think of him as being alive during the Renaissance, when in reality he was active only a little over a century ago. You know, Picasso died in the 1970s. But he was also alive during the 1800s. There is a character based off him in Red Dead Redemption 2. Edit. Actually, the character might be based off of Paul Gauguin rather than Picasso. Y'all need to stop destroying my sense of time right now. Edit. What did I just say? It took 4 times longer to switch from bronze swords to steel swords than from steel swords to nuclear bombs. Compound bows are more recent than nuclear weapons. Why did it take so long to invent the compound bow? The technology behind it doesn't seem too advanced to have been invented in the medieval or at least Renaissance era. No idea, but it barely beat the moon landing by a couple years. We hit people in space before compound bows. Web link. I guess development of bow technology was probably stalled somewhat when it lost its status as one of the primary means of waging war. This is likely a big reason. I think another reason is that while we certainly could have made compound bows a lot earlier, they are mechanically pretty simple. They do depend on a lot of relatively modern materials in order to work well and be affordably manufactured. The forces in a compound bow are very high, yet the parts need to be light, so they rely on high-performance materials like carbon fiber, and modern plastics, synthetic fibers. If you did build a compound bow in the early 1900s, my guess is that it would either be extremely expensive, not very durable, or not perform very well. Bakelite just ain't going to cut it. How about mithril, adamant, and rune swords? Timelines are really effy when you actually lay them out. Like MLK and Anne Frank being born the same year, Oxford University being around when the Mayans were. If you are a US citizen born in 1970 or earlier, you've lived through about a fifth of the entirety of US history. Cleopatra lived closer to us time-wise than she did to the building of the Great Pyramids. Similarly, the T-Rex lived closer to us in time than it did to the Stegosaurus, etc. etc. Edit. I misremembered the Oxford fact. It's actually that Oxford University has been around since before the Aztec Empire. What the actual F? The T-Rex one is hurting my brain. Dinosaurs were around for a really long time, long enough for different species to evolve and go extinct numerous times. All of human history is but a mere blip on the timeline that includes the reign of dinosaurs. Web link. Yeah, but did they ever land on the moon? Checkmate dinosaurs. No need. A moon landed on them. They also didn't have fossil fuels. Simpletons for sure. 65 mil to now is less than 100 brother-in-law and change from Triassic to Cretaceous. I keep having to double check though. I can't keep spewing this fact out by habit and then one of these days, in 35 million years, I'm suddenly wrong. Picasso and Salvador Dali having such a huge crossover timeline-wise is what really throws me off. Picasso feels earlier, and Salvador Dali feels like a fictional character in a world similar but different from ours. But also later by a bit. If he was depressed maybe, he just covered for the kid because dying didn't faze him. There's a whole butt movie about this, Loving Vincent. Every frame is individually painted by masters in his style, great movie. Magnets. How do they work? And do they know things? What do they know? Let's find out. Hi, physicist here. No effing clue. I don't want to talk to a scientist. Hi, non-scientist here. No effing clue. Money doesn't bring you happiness. Well, lack of money sure as crap doesn't either. Money is like health. Having it is no guarantee for happiness. Not having it almost certainly makes you unhappy. That my work cares about me. We had the best quarter we ever had. Followed shortly by, we have no money for bonuses this year. Hey, we must work for the same massive, successful company. We're all one big family until sorry, but business is business. My last job I was incredibly tight with the owner. We'd go camping, hang out outside of work etc. Normally I'm very skeptical of people claiming the company is a big family etc. My boss never said it was a family. I felt that our relationship was starting to transcend into a solid adult friendship. Then, one night my family thought I was having a stroke. Ambulance ride the whole 9 yards. My boss canceled my insurance the next day because I wasn't able to work to pay my half the premiums. I ended up being medically out for 2 weeks before the DR gave the all clear to go back to work. That's all it took to tear down years of the relationship we had, whatever it was. 2 weeks. 2 weeks was enough for him to completely toss me out like old trash. It wasn't even 2 weeks of paid leave. He ended up ghosting and then avoiding me when I tried to make contact. Never once even got an inquiry into how my health is doing. All this happened in February. I just barely found a new job. What hurts the most, not that I thought we were friends, our families would hang out together, but the fact that I loved that job. And not even 2 weeks before this he had given me an unexpected bonus for the great work I was doing. So I know he wasn't looking to fire me. It's just that 2 weeks of unplanned absence was enough for him to ditch me. Also, before anybody asks, I did keep in touch the entire time on my expected return time, so I didn't just disappear. It was only when I got the okay from the doctor did he vanish. P.S. Sorry for the long post, I just had to rant. I feel like that was illegal as crap. Probably is. The state I live in is insanely pro-company. I read an article a bit ago about only less than 1% of complaints to the labor board are ruled in favor of the employee filing the complaint. I read this whole thing. That is insane. What kind of person doesn't understand that someone can have a medical emergency? It's not as if you just disappeared and went on vacation. You're better off not working for someone like that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.